Alright everyone, it's time to talk about Ilhan Omar and AIPAC because that was like the big story yesterday for a few hours before the competing rallies between Trump, who talked to 10,000 people, and Beto talked to 10 people, and it was very funny, and it shows the contrast sort of on the ground. As far as among the average person, most average Americans are sane. They want to feel, reasonably safe in the country. They want the border wall to be completed. But Ilhan Omar came out the other day and made a tweet. She's apologized for it because the Democrats forced her. They're like, oh shit, this is going to become a huge political issue. Fucking apologize. They did what they should have done to Northam, which is browbeat her mercilessly for several hours until she did. She came out and she was referencing AIPAC and talking about the Benjamins and, oh yeah, well, there's people, they represent interests other than U.S. interests in Congress. It's like, you're not entirely wrong, but it's very, very ironic to hear it from someone who is a socialist, number one, so you believe in crazy economic things. You are a globalist, number two, and an Islamo-fascist, number three. Yes, Ilhan Omar is an Islamic radical. I don't care. No, she's female. She's not that religious. Bullshit. Absolute unending bullshit. Completely wrong. If she were a Christian and she were saying things from that perspective, you'd be crucifying her, liberals. So don't fucking get me started. By the way, in the immediate wake of this, and by the way, I criticize AIPAC too. I have before. Israeli policy is often desperately warmongering towards certain neighbors, problematic, and no, I don't believe in giving foreign aid to anyone, so yeah, I believe in ending aid to Israel. Nothing about Judaism or Israel in a vacuum. I just think that when we're in as much debt as we are, we should keep all of our money at home. Here's my thoughts. The most important part was that in the immediate wake of this, everyone sort of scrambled to find a side. Everyone's like, you either stand, if you stand with the, one side said, if you stand with Ilhan Omar, you're an anti-Semite and everything, and you love like Islamofascism and stuff like that. And then the other side said, well, if you're standing with AIPAC, well, you want to sell the U.S. down the river to foreign powers, and, you're no patriot, and you hate Muslims, too, because Ilhan Omar is a Muslim. It's very funny. First, was she the first, or was it Rashida Tlaib, the first female Islamist in Congress? I think it was Ilhan Omar. It's very, very funny, therefore, to see her be the one that is starting this issue. And it's been a debate anyway. Like, ethno-nationalists have been saying, repeal aid to Israel for a long time, but then again, they usually want to repeal it to all of the Islamic countries. So we give untold tens of billions to people that don't need it. You have functioning economies. Make your own money. It doesn't make any sense the way we do things. But everyone wanted to find a side, right? I'm sitting there looking at it, I'm saying, I can criticize both. Ilhan Omar is a fascistic weirdo, a socialist. Doesn't represent my interests, certainly. AIPAC doesn't represent my interests. They're a corrupt foreign lobby. Yes, they are literally a lobby for a foreign state to influence U.S. policy. Well, that means that there's another state whose interests they act in, and it's not the United States. I'm an American. I have to live in this country. I don't live in Israel. I don't live in Saudi Arabia. I don't live in Turkmenistan. I live in the United States. Ultimately, charity begins at home. I care first and foremost about this country. The fact that some people think that's a bad thing to do is hilarious to me. Oh my God, you want a secure border. Oh, I hear you want a military. I hear that you want to control your borders, you want to control the trade deals that you sign. Oh my God, you fucking greedy American. It's hilarious. No, I'm not going to say good things about AIPAC or Ilhan Omar. And then some identitarians actually jumped down my throat. They're like, well, Ilhan Omar is not wrong, is she? No, of course not. But it's like the broken clock sort of thing. She's a socialistic Islamo-fascist. Why the fuck am I going to say good things about her? Like I needed her to tell me that AIPAC was problematic? No, if anything, this actually screws up that argument because it makes criticism of AIPAC look legitimately anti-Semitic. Like the people that do it are motivated, number one, by religion, and number two, ramble about money all the time, like the Benjamins or something like that. And it just looked terrible. Think of strategy. Think of optics a little bit. When you're criticizing people, you have to do that. It's like, yes, Ilhan Omar probably is anti-Semitic. She's hanging out with people that say crazy shit all the time about Jews. So, yeah, I'm thinking that there might be a little bit of a pattern here. If Trump hangs around with Billy Bush, everyone assumes he's sexually assaulting everything that moves. But Ilhan Omar can hang around with people that literally say crazy shit about wanting to, destroy an entire nation full of people, and nobody really bats an eye within the Democratic Party, at least, and it's extremely funny. Now, are inordinate proportions of our Congress morbidly fascinated with the concept of Judeo-Christianity to the point where they kowtow to Israel because they think to do otherwise is to serve the Antichrist? Absolutely. There's a lot of superstition in Congress. The funny thing is, though, here's the funny thing. The liberals will say that. They'll say, well, these evangelicals, they're superstitious and crazy about, Israel and stuff. They want to rebuild the temple, and they want to exterminate the West Bank. Okay, granted. Your answer to that is to want to load Congress with a bunch of people who are religious in the Islamic fashion? Like, I think we've got enough religious people in Congress. How about some Enlightenment-era deists or something, or a pagan or two? Yeah, it'll be a cold day in hell before that happens, probably, because people have weird beliefs with regards to this sort of trifecta of Abrahamism, but it's all right. Now, you got to side with AIPAC or you got to side with Ilhan Omar? No, I don't. No, I can just side with nobody. I side with myself, with the United States. That means rejecting largely what AIPAC wants. That means rejecting Ilhan Omar's message of socialism and her message of Islamic zeal. I reject them both. Wow, it's almost like I can think for myself and things aren't just a black and white fucking dichotomy. I think they're both shitty. I think they're both wrong. And yeah, it's like, but the way she phrases it, though, makes it hard to even take that position without some people saying, well, you're an anti-Semite or something, because of the way that she said it. Really, it's like criticism of AIPAC or Israeli policy has nothing to do with criticizing Jews in general. It's just like the fact that Ilhan Omar happens to be a religious fanatic and the fact that she happens to be a socialistic moron doesn't mean that everyone who practices Islam falls into those categories. But if you call her out for that, there are people that'll jump down your throat and act as though you're being Islamophobic. It's like you don't even have to mention it. You can just say that you think she's crazy. Oh, why? Because she's a non-white, Islamic practitioner or something like that. It's hilarious. It's just like what's his name there? Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London. You point out that it looked a little bit conspicuous when he wanted to cover up billboards of women in swimsuits and was talking about body image, which is a total cop-out at the time. People assumed that you were being Islamophobic. It's like, no, it's more like I've got common sense. It's more like it's obviously not an issue, and he's coming from a certain background, a certain perspective that lends itself to doing shit like that. I wonder if these things could be coincidental or if they're related to one another. It's really what the name of the game is. So yeah, I reject Ilhan Omar, I reject AIPAC, I reject the whole thing. Like, why would you feel the need to take a side? No, take your own side. It should be America versus things that are bad for America. And it's like AIPAC, it's like, okay, well, you have a lobby, Ilhan Omar's in Congress, fucking whatever, but that doesn't mean that I have to support them. That's about all. Peace out.